esports has been on television in Korea since the late 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And Korean television was one of the direct causes for why esports got so big in that country. Not only was it so it was such a part of the culture that the TV was one of the major sponsors of the league itself. Like the league, the On Game Net Star League was run on Game Net, the TV channel.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was the NBC Star League, run on NBC, the TV channel in Korea. So in a region like Korea, you had the TV channels actually way ahead. And that is why Korean PC bangs, which are like PC cafes here in America and Europe, got so popular over in Korea, and that's a big reason why Korean esports has been so far ahead of almost every other region in the world. A big part of it is the like internet culture in Asia and how fast the internet is and the internet infrastructure over there. That is definitely part of it. But video games being accepted and being more part of the culture and being on television is something that does happen. It's just not here in America. So when you're talking about America specifically, I really kind of do think it's going to take a while. And I don't think it's just video games. Like soccer is the biggest sport in the world total because it is the official sport. Football is the official sport of Europe and the UK, which we're not going to include Europe anymore. Actually, I don't know what the fuck that means. And all of South America, and it's the official sport of Africa and like most of Eastern Europe. It's pretty much the official sport, the number one most played sport in like 80% of the world or whatever. It's the official sport of the globe. And it's still, to this day, not like primetime American television. And even when soccer, which is the number one sport in the world, football, is on American television, maybe you won't get the same type of comments, but you actually get still people talking shit about like soccer and football.
You absolutely do.
European football. So you get people talking shit about the biggest sport in the world. It's just because here in America, things are a little bit different culturally than the rest. And in a lot of ways, we are like the most behind in different factors because of what the most popular sports are here in America, and how, in terms of like esports, how we view video games and technology and the internet. And in a lot of ways, Asia is way further ahead of us in that way. And even in Europe, there are places like Sweden and the Nordic countries which have been way more accepting of esports traditionally, and their television channels have also had way more positive experiences because the culture over there is more used to this esports and video game culture. So in a lot of ways, America has just been behind on everything, whether it's fucking video games and esports or whether it's like football, soccer, the biggest sport in the world. America, like, in some ways, just can't get its fucking shit together. So I don't actually I expect these kinds of comments to continue for a good while. Like, I still think in 5 years, let's just say, the Overwatch League media rights for Twitch are ending this year. And because the Major League ML BAM was bought by Disney, that killed the ML BAM Riot deal. So there's a very realistic possibility scenario where like ESPN is bidding for Overwatch League rights or League of Legends rights for the next coming years. And maybe that gets on television, right?
Yeah.
I think the amount of complaining is only going to increase. Like, I don't actually think there's going to be less complaining, like, the more time it's on. I just think that the more it's on, the more complaining there's going to be, and there might not really be a decrease in the amount of complaining. There's going to be more people noticing, therefore more commentary complaining, and then there will continue to be the back and forth. I do think some of the more professionals in the industry, whether they work like yourself in media or in sports, are seeing it more and more, and especially as a lot of people's kids are playing Fortnite and they're getting... I mean, one of the biggest reasons that esports has had more acceptance is that every big executive in the country, their like 9 or 10-year-old son or daughter is now playing Fortnite like every fucking day, or they're playing Minecraft or whatever, and they're exposed to video games and like internet creation, internet content creation and gamers and everything all the time. that's only going to now like help things more than ever. Is really every top executive's kids playing games helps. So I think it's probably going to help a little bit in terms of the way the media covers it. They're going to be like, oh, okay, we actually kind of like understand it, even though we still don't care about it. At least they're not going to be like, well, what is this thing? They're just going to be like, oh, I know this, and I still fucking hate it. Like, I think
that's mostly where we're at right now. Yeah,
that's where we're going to go. We're going to go from, what the fuck is this? I don't get this, to, oh, I know this. Fuck this thing. This is bullshit.
Yeah, still fuck this.
Yeah, fuck this, but I get it now.
Once people like the Disneys and the Foxes, once they start buying into the rights on this, that's when we're going to see it a lot more. And I didn't even think about going through a rough patch of more visibility means more bullshit. I totally didn't think about that. But I think once we get past that rough patch and it starts to become normalized, and then this younger generation of kids who loves games, who loves esports, who's used to this, they come up. I mean, there had to have been dudes back in forever ago that were like, what's this fucking football thing? Were you just throwing a ball around? You think that's a career? Go work out in the farm, you idiot. Stop doing that shit. That's just a damn game. Like, at some point somebody said that, right? And so maybe a generation or two from now, maybe that's, and I'm really hoping it's like my kids' generation. I'm hoping it's that generation that comes up and esports is more widely accepted in the United States from a TV viewing experience, because it's incredible to watch. Like, I think that my favorite live sporting event, my two favorite live sporting events that I've ever been to, one of them is going to a Texas A&M football game. It's hands down, it doesn't matter what game it is. I absolutely love it. But number two was the Overwatch League Grand Finals at Barclays last year in Brooklyn. It was an absolutely electric environment. And I think if people really kind of sat down instead of just hating it, and they really were kind of normalized to it, or I guess desensitized to it is one way to put it, and really kind of took in what was happening, and even more than that, got to go see an event live, they'd be like, okay, shit, this is legitimate. Like, this isn't a joke. This is a real thing, and it's actually pretty fun to watch. And maybe it takes a generation or two, but I do think it's going to happen at some point.
Well, you know what I got to say? The more this happens, the more content that I have.
That's true.
So
yeah.
If people complaining about this is beautiful for me, because I will compile it every time and make fun of them, especially because they post some great messages. They post some just fantastic fucking commentary. Like, I have learned over the last few weeks a bunch of different things, like gamers are Antifa. And they're pussifying the world.
That's my favorite one, the pussification of the world.
Pussification of the world.
Jesus, man. Like, why is that the pussification of the world? Like, of all the things, like, I don't agree with that sentiment or that phrase in any way, but of all the things you choose gaming, that's the one thing? It's so stupid, man.
It's great. And please, all of you out there, keep sending your messages. They are just awesome. And people have been trying to troll me. Also throughout these, as people have seen me do it more and more, people now are trying to troll, and I've never been caught. So every message has been real. I have made sure every single time that they are all real. I've done some investigating. I've had to DM some people, with some thonk emotes, being like, I don't believe you're actually mad here. I make sure it's accurate content. I will say, though, that, like, I do think it's going to be your kids' generation. I don't know how old your daughter is.
My daughter's 10. My son is 8. So they're a little younger.
Yeah. So, like, really, though, it is going to be their generation. Like, my buddy DJ Wheat, his son is just turned 13, and really, so it's really like your folks' kids, and whenever I have a kid, even though I don't fucking want one ever, like, so whenever that happens, like, it really will be their generation to kind of pass the torch. And who knows if the planet is still around by then?
That's a great point.
The internet should be, like, super advanced, and maybe by then we'll have, like, good internet here in America. I don't know about that.
That's not going to happen.
Hopefully, like, things will have really progressed to, like, the internet infrastructure and gaming will be so big, and we'll all be on the fucking cloud. We'll have, like, zero ping or whatever it is. It'll make things, like, much easier. But not only that, but
maybe then Google Stadia will actually work by then.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but it's true, though. Maybe it's possible. I actually highly doubt it. I don't think it's going to happen. But, really, in terms of like acceptance for television, it really doesn't matter because although getting esports on television is always going to increase the amount of audience there is, and there still is obviously quite a large amount of people that are still watching endemic television. There's a reason that like live streaming has taken off through esports, and that esports is like the most watched live streaming like anything in the world. It's not music, it's not like other types of gaming, it's like esports. Like live streaming, the whole technology was like really catapulted by esports. Esports is why Twitch was worth $1 billion. Yeah, there's like other things on the platform, and it's diversified, and there's IRL and other games and variety streamers and whatnot, but really esports was the backbone. Esports is still the backbone of the viewership of the platform. So because esports is been such a big driver of the entire technology that is live streaming, there is no like, it's only going to increase. There's no real reason to go on TV, and all of the younger generation, like your kids, will be watching esports on Twitch online on a stream in like 5 to 10 years. They're not going to watch it on TV anyway. So the amount of, even though we don't really know the future, and TV companies have so much power that as we see they're launching all these streaming services, more than likely they're still going to have so much power in the future. So television is never going to like go away or anything, and everything will probably integrate together. In 5 or 10 years, hopefully, everyone's going to figure out like how you buy bundles or subscription services or whatever. And by then, I think it'll get way easier. I think TV and internet will probably become more seamless. So getting esports on TV won't be as big of a deal because it'll just be one way to watch everything.
Right. I totally agree with that. I mean, for the people, there are people that say, oh, esports needs to be on TV. It absolutely doesn't. Like, everything can be streamed. It's why I'm doing this show the way I am right now. If I was still at the radio station that I was on, I could not have you on there because my program director would have been like, well, why do you need to have this guy on? You don't need him on. I absolutely do. You're a great guest. You know your shit, and it's a fun conversation. And so I get to do things my way on a digital platform this way, and I don't have to worry about radio. I don't have to worry about TV. I'm doing it on this amazing digital space that everybody's consuming all the time. And so that's why esports doesn't have to rely on TV. They don't have to rely on I guess relying on media rights in a different way is what they want to do, but they don't need traditional television because they can stream anything at any time from anywhere in any way.